la tierra, mujeres que nutren las plantas, niños que escuchan atento a la voz de su abuelo, niños que escuchan atento a la historia de su abuelo. Y ahí apareces tú con tu ser luminoso. Y ahí apareces tú con tu ser poderoso, con tu ser luminoso. Naturaleza que brilla dentro de ti, naturaleza, hombres que cuiden la tierra, mujeres que nutren las plantas, hombres que cuiden la tierra, mujeres que nutren las plantas, niños que escuchan atento a la voz de su abuelo, niños que escuchan atento a la historia de su abuelo. Y ahí vives tú con tu ser luminoso. Y ahí vives tú con tu ser poderoso.
So, hello everyone. I'm very happy to be here with all of you. It's the last honest talk about this introduction to relationships, love relationships. I think is one of the most important themes that we always have in our life. Society comes from that loving relationship in a sense. Sorry, confirm your speaking language. Okay. So before I go, I want to say to everyone, if you need translation for Russian or English, we have here the channel. There's a little world down, and you can click there, and then you click Russian or English channel, and you will listen me in English or Julia translating what I'm saying. So I'm very happy to be here the last months because we have been speaking about relationships, and I believe that touches all of us, all. And the more I go, the more I get older, the more I work with people, I believe that if we don't have a healthy relationship with ourselves, with our past, with our childhood, with our body, with our own shadow and our own light, we can't really have a full life. So I believe life is an never ending journey uh, to discover who we are. And loving relationships are the best ground to really see who we are, to the best ground for growth, the best ground to transformation, to blossom our true essence. But for that, we all need to really want. For that, we need to become conscious about everything that we can, because I don't believe one life is enough, but I believe life is enough to do a lot, to love much more, to grow immensely, to live our greater side. And so, welcome to the third session of loving relationships. So before I start, let's just open the microphones, all of us, because this is about relationships, and just say hello in your language all together, so we really listen to each other.
Привіт.
Добрый
Привет,
день.
привет.
Всем привет, ребята.
Привет, привет.
Добрый
вечер.
Hola.
So welcome everyone. Welcome to our third session.
Hello.
Hello to our third session. So before we go into the third session, that is the last of this first honest talk journey, but not the least, we will open much more about everything that is connected with relationships. I want just to remind you that in the first session, we were exploring the foundation of love and what are we really seeking in love. What is the difference between conscious longing and unconscious needs? Do we seek for love or do we seek for validation, recognition, understanding the attachment styles and how they really shape the way we relate? Um, how we seek for profound connection, intimacy, acceptance, personal growth. Um, we were speaking about trust, honesty has a foundation of mutual connection and safetiness to really be who we are, emotional support, how we share values, how we share the interest, the principles, how we see life, and physical intimacy. How physical intimacy is important, but it's not all. And of course, mutual respect, how the appreciation and how the appreciation bring us to a point that we feel safe with other person because we are seen not only in our shadow but in our qualities, in our light, and that grows our self-value and self-love too. And in the second session, we were digging and doing a journey into challenge in love. So, what are the communication breakdowns, like misunderstandings, passive-aggressive behaviors, avoidance, how do we block intimacy, how that breaks all the trust and the longing to live a long-lasting relationship, the trust issues like past betrayals, fear of being hurt, unmet expectations, what really breaks our trust, and what are the intimacy concerns. So, how can we feel close and how we don't? How we create this distance that normally so many couples bring to me after, sometimes even after 2 years. How in 2 years we create decency and break intimacy and trust. And of course, after 20 years, people that really last 20 years doesn't mean that they are living a true relationship. Maybe they are staying together because they need financial situations, because they give value to family. But true relationship is not about the years, but about the quality of connection, the quality of trust, the quality of playfulness. We spoke about financial disagreements, how that can be very damaging for the relationship, and the imbalance in responsibilities. What are the external pressures like work, parenting, health, our families, and how the insecure attachments, anxious and avoidant, trigger reactivity and emotional shutdown. So I believe it was a journey that was really helpful because we were touching so many important layers of how we relate with each other. And today, to finalize this journey, to bring to an integration, we will speak about from conflict to growth, how to build a lasting love relationship. So imagine that, and for the others that you are here for the first time, how we will do this. I will explain, I will expose what I bring here, and then I will open a moment for questions. So if you want to write on the chat, you can start writing when a question comes to your mind. And then at the end, I will answer the best that I can, of course, because I'm still growing as all of you. At 47, I already had three big separations in my life. And now I'm experiencing a totally different quality of relationship, a relationship that I can bring what I learned from my past, so I can implement now and open myself to a deeper quality of communication, healing, pleasure, joy, and growth together. So I will give everything that I have, but of course, I'm still growing as a human being, as you, and I believe that all of you already know so much and you have so much wisdom. Sometimes it's just a question of pausing our life and to give attention to ourselves and to review what I did learn in this relationship, what I can learn more now, what I need to learn. So we all are here sharing these themes. It's not that I come here in a position of guru. I don't consider myself a guru. I consider a person that I give my life to consciousness and to rise this consciousness and to help others to do the same and heal their wounds so they can move forward into a much more free and loving and joyful life. So here we are. So imagine if a conflict is not the end of love, but the beginning of something deeper. Many of us, including myself, many times we look to conflict like, okay, it's the end. I can't handle it anymore. I already lived so much. But imagine that we can start to reframe this in a way that is what this conflict that we are having together is trying to teach me. Imagine that conflict is a catalyst for growth. How can I use this conflict to grow myself and to help the other to do the same? So, as a catalyst for growth, normally if we step out of our emotions, if we can have a moment of reflection and to detach from the emotion itself, the conflict is asking us for self-expression. So conflict invite truth because we can name our needs, we can name our fears, we can establish our boundaries, not against the other, but because what is important to us. So conflict is an opportunity, is a gate for each one of us to express what really is meaningful for us, what is important. And that, I believe there's nothing so more important in a relationship, because without truth, because without naming what we need, what is my fears, what are my wounds, we can't relate from we can't relate from an authentic place. And only through authenticity, love can blossom. Conflict is asking for emotional intimacy. So it's like through hard situations, moving together, when we can heal through challenge, builds trust. That's why many times you say, but that couple already had so many challenge. I don't know how they stay together. It's not the quantity of challenge or the powerful challenge that they had, including sometimes even, attacking, shouting. Is more about how they can repair inequality, how the reparation brings quality and builds the trust because they open themselves and they want to repair. At the same time, the conflict helps us to learn how to solve our problems, how to navigate disagreements. And that is proven when we navigate together, and repairing and solving improves always the ability for that couple to create solutions together for life. That means deepening the connection under pressure. And it's not with everyone that you can sustain pressure. You can fall in love. For some people, you can feel the passion, but two people that they can grow under pressure and rebuild trust and to be there for each other creates a safe space to grow. And that has an importance that is the same importance that the child is asking their parents for safetiness. So that when a couple grow under pressure and repair, what we are repairing too is not only the relationship with our partner, we are repairing our childhood. So a study that was published on Psychology Today found that the conflict, when approached consciously, can lead to greater emotional understanding and strength connection. That means that the bond that you are having will be bigger than any other past relationship, any other future relationship, that you can't create that trust and the pressure that at the end grows that bond that is more than important than just a present relationship. It calls our childhood healing. So many times in ancient traditions, for example, Rumi, a Sufi, he was saying, I believe that you all know that the quote is everywhere that says, the wound is where the light enters. And this quote has an immense wisdom because it's in the reparation of the wound that we create strength and wisdom. So if we do that with ourselves alone, imagine together the power of the healing wound has in the evolution of those two people. I believe that many times when we look back to our relationship, we see how we had conflicts and we were not available and mature to really take responsibility in that conflict and to own what was ours, and to be open to the other. So I want to bring you now key topics and strategies how to repair and rebuild connection, especially after challenge and after fights. I believe that all of us, we already regret, we regret that I didn't know how to have that conversation. I went immediately through attack. I went immediately through self-preservation, defending myself. At the end, what the other was saying, it was true too, but I didn't know how to do it. So how can we create strategies to build better communication and repair after fights, after challenge? So the power of repairing is to deepening the intimacy that we all long for. And we need to learn how to fight without damaging the bond. For example, and I believe that almost everyone already did it once or twice or many, like attacking the other, calling names, um, being highly critic, use sarcasm, and all of them, they are only strategies of self-defense because we are really hurt and we don't know how to deal with our pain. We spoke about this on the first lesson. So how can we shift from who is right for what we both need? I believe that is the way to be in a relationship. Even if I'm in pain, even if I understand what triggers me and I want to shut down or to defend myself, how can I sustain my curiosity in the other and my willingness to listen to the other so we can come to a common point of understanding the needs of each other? Science says that couples that use repair attempts like humor, affection, accountability, active listening, not blaming, and embracing the other in their pain, in their wounds, normally they have 80% much more possibilities to stay together in a constructive way. That is a lot. So how can we exercise this? There's an exercise that I always give to my clients, especially to couples, that is reflective listening practice. How do we do this? We do this all the time in our retreats. If you were in a retreat, you already know what I will say. That is, we give a time for a partner to share. And you can even count 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And when that person is sharing, that is that person that is your love, the one that you want to stay, the one that you would love to have a true intimacy and relationship. But because you feel so many times not seen, not heard, you start to shut down. So this exercise is to open yourself again, to really listen. So you book a time with your alarm clock, 5 to 10 minutes, and then you listen without any comment, without doing any faces. You just breathe through it. So you are really there listening to what the other has to say. And then you change. How do we do this? You always speak I, feel, I see, when this happened, when you treat me like this, the way I perceive is that I'm not your priority, that you don't take me in consideration, and maybe that hurts my wound from my past because it's still active. So you start to take responsibility for your own emotions. So to take responsibility is one of the most important factors to a relationship to have any possibility to evolve in a beautiful way, in a conscious way, where you are blossoming into an evolution and not staying in a conflict till you separate. So to be responsible and to love someone deeply is not to blame the other, how we feel, but how to become aware of what they awaken in us. how they trigger in us certain kinds of qualities, certain kinds of emotions that trigger our self-defense survival mechanism, and how to go through that. In the second session, we spoke a lot about this. About triggers, about becoming responsible to communicate this in a healthy way, even if you are feeling triggered with high emotions. Sometimes we need to make a pause. We spoke about this before we can engage in a true, authentic dialogue. So, responsibility is not about guilt, but it's about awareness, and it's about the intelligence that we need to develop to pause and ask, what part of this is mine? Most of the time we don't ask this. What we do is immediately react, and we point that finger to the other. It's your responsibility. So what part of this is mine? Why do I attract the person that triggers me? Why do I choose a partner that has this behavior and I allowed it, for example? Or how do I trigger my partner and he reacts like this because it's his wound? And the other question is, what wound is speaking right now? My wound or my partner wound? It's not only understanding my past and my challenge, but to have enough love to understand the wound of my partner now, and to be available to understand that maybe in this moment, my partner or we are highly triggered, and the wound is speaking, the trauma is speaking, and not my true essence, not my conscious being. And then asking all the time in that moment that we want to be reactive and answer immediately and defending or attacking is, am I relating from fear, from my past pain, or am I present here? And most of the times, what happens is we are relating from trauma, we are relating from the wounds and from fear. So, what requires to take responsibility is emotional maturity. So we need to work on ourselves. We need to want to know what happened to myself. I need to want to know how my wound is still alive and how I am triggered. So when a conflict appears, I understand what is happening to me, and I can consciously say, hey, wound, I'm listening to you. I'm really afraid. I want to shut down. I want to attack, but I choose consciously to take a deep breath and to choose what I really want to say, and not to be drawn into my wound. So we need to have the willingness to examine our projections from the past and to have the courage to feel discomfort before we attack, we shut down, or we withdraw. Without emotional maturity, without the capacity to examine our projections from the past into our present relationship and our partners, and without this courage to feel discomfort, almost for sure, your relationship will be a battlefield between wounds. Almost for sure, your relationship will be the ground for your inner child that is still looking for wounds to take the driving seat, and you lose control, you lose the capacity to recreate your life. So, science says that couples that engage in self reflection, engage in self-development work or spiritual life that helps them to reflect, to attune to higher principles than only to their past, their emotions, their reactions, they become much more accountable in their emotional life together, and they have higher rates of satisfaction, and they are much more resilient in conflict. So when I receive a couple, normally what I see is one wants more to heal than the other. And I need first to help them to come to a place that both of them, they take responsibility for healing. For that, both they need to want, to desire, to stay connected, and to see each own's part. So, for example, for me, if I'm having a hard time in my life, in any kind of relationship that I believe that I need to reflect, I take support, because sometimes we are not really seeing what is there, and we need someone from outside to ask us the right questions and to point, maybe let's reflect here, because normally we have a blind spot, and that blind spot is exactly what we don't want to look. And the key for evolution and for healing and for connection is exactly there. So the key teaching in taking responsibility is blame disconnects. Responsibility creates connection. And I will repeat. Blame disconnects each other. Responsibility creates connection. An exercise that you can take from here today is you create a personal accountability journal. So every day, and it can be just some sentence, a big text, as you wish, as you feel, but you reflect by writing about the conflict that you had and what was your contribution to that conflict. I didn't really want to dialogue. I was blaming. I was being passive aggressive. I was attacking. I was withdrawing. What was my true contribution for that conflict? And then the second level is how I contribute for repair, to reparation in this relationship. When you examine, at least for 21 days, you will see the patterns. You will see how you do it. And most of the time, our patterns come from our past wounds. And we start to acknowledge, okay, if there is a pattern, there is a fear, there is a pain. And how can I work with this? So now I can start to have a more mature and adult relation with my partner that requires that I own my part, that I own my pain, and I ask for support and I ask for help. So another key topic for relationships is boundaries. Before I go, I believe that all of you already you are listening to me and reflecting like, oh my God, I did this. I really withdraw. I really attacked. And it's only when we start to acknowledge that we do consciously, it's not, I did, okay, I will change. No, when we acknowledge with consciousness saying, oh my God, I really do this, I need to stop. I need to change, I need to learn, I need to heal, will be the moment that your true transformation and the quality that you want to bring to your life will happen. Before that, you will remain in the same cycle. So the other topic is boundaries versus control. So what is a true boundary? A boundary says, I love you and I love myself. And I need integrity for both. So I need this space or I need my time. Control says, I don't feel safe with you. So I need you to change, or because I don't want, because I'm afraid to deal with my fears. So control is when you ask and you demand that the other change. Boundaries through consciousness is when you explain to other that for you to feel integrity and you don't betray yourself, this is really important. For you to feel that the other person is respecting you and giving you care and attention in a way that you can recognize you need certain things. And you say this not as a demand, but as showing your true needs. So at the end, boundaries are invitations to healthier relationships, because at the end they come from love, from clarity, from self-respect about yourself. It's not about that you want the other to change, but you want the other to see you and what is important for you. So imagine that you are a person that you need more time to process what is going on in that conflict. You can say, I can't speak right now. I need more time to regulate myself. I need time to breathe and to put my mind in orders. Or you can say in more challenging moments, I don't feel comfortable when you are yelling with me because I feel that, I'm being attacked. I'm not okay that you spoke with me like this. And the other needs to be there for you to say, you are right. Sorry that I spoke like this. I'm very irritated. Uh, I, I don't know how to do this. I need to learn. And to learn is a commitment. It's when you feel that the trigger is coming and you know where you will go, you take a deep breath. In that moment, you remember your commitment not to yell again, to breathe, to come to a point of conscious choices. And I hear many times people say, Satya, my emotions are so strong and I can't do it. And I always say, I believe that it's not the emotion that is strong, but the emotion is revealing a huge pain. So we need to work on your pain. But I believe that you have everything inside for you to learn new skills and to learn how to do differently. So to tell you that I believe that we all have that. Even if we already did terrible things like violence, like shouting, blaming, like calling names, sometimes even betraying, accusing the other, I believe if two people really want to learn together or separated, we can, but we need to commit with a healing journey of growth. So science says that couples that set clear and compassionate boundaries, they report higher emotional safety and lower stress, not only with each other, because they become the safe home to each other, so with each other naturally, but because they come home and they have that safe harbor, they become human beings with less stress. That has an immense difference in their immune system and how they relate with other people. In Taoism, they say that the essence of harmony is the balance between self and the other. And I believe that is true. It's like the balance in yin and yang, from shadow and light. We can't always live in shadow. We can't always live in light because we came to a planet Earth that is about duality. And when we embrace this unity, when we recognize our shadow and our lights, and we embrace them, when we recognize our qualities and our wounds, when we embrace that, we can move forward because we are more than the parts that create us. We are everything without separation. So at the end, boundaries create bridges. If you have clear boundaries, if you can communicate them from a place of honesty and you are listen and you can listen the other, boundary creates bridges. How can we relate in a healthy way, respecting respecting what is important for the other? But control that demands, what does it is to build walls. And those walls are contributing to more pain, to more isolation, to less trust, to less intimacy, to less pleasure, to less orgasm. Because to really flourish in sexuality, you need to trust, because you need to let go all your traumas and insecurities, and your self-doubts. You need to let go totally so you can surrender to a higher intimacy that combines physical body, physical chemistry with heart, with trust that you are lovable and you are welcome exactly the way you are. When we surrender to that, especially for women, the water starts to fall, to open. And we have that orgasm that spread a lot of water. For example, is just one example. So sexuality, and we will have other honest talks about sexuality, so I will not take a lot of time regarding sexuality, but everything is highly interconnected. Intimacy bring us to trust, trust to bring us to high value and self-love and commitment to the other, and that opens to a sexuality beyond pleasure. That opens, as the ancient wisdom says, gates of perception, gates of consciousness that normally we don't reach in so many other ways that we can reach other things. So a thing that you can exercise with your partner is you write what is important for you has boundaries, and your partner does the same. And then you share that with each other, and you understand what will be easier for you to respect and to do, and what will be not easy for you. And you can even negotiate how you will do this. And you can ask for help, like, I don't know how to do this because that goes against what I feel. So you go into like an adventure of growing together. And I believe that is so beautiful, that is so important, because with whom we can do that every day. If you pause and think, with whom you have a true deep connection, that you can go into a journey of questioning your wounds and your past traumas, and in a safe place heal and try it again, and then open to more love and to more ecstasy, and then to more learnings. Not with everyone, honestly. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of trust, takes a lot of mistakes, takes a lot of repair, takes a lot of willingness to do this together. We are lucky if we have a full hand of people like this. If you have, beautiful. And I'm not speaking about friends that we have dinner every day and we go on holidays. No, I'm speaking about that person that you call when everything is going on fire and you're losing everything, when you did a huge mistake, when, as we say in Portuguese, like, be cagada, it was terrible what you did, but you have that person says, it was terrible. You really hurt that person, or you couldn't do this, but I'm here for you. I love you. I'm here by your side when you are in hell. That is something. That is paradise. That is something to value very close to our heart and not let go of that. Because that is at the end what we are wired to do, that is to share. Another topic that is highly important to have long-term loving relationships is to keep passion and connection. And I will discuss a little bit, but in the sexual honest talk about sexuality on honest talk meetings that we will have, I will dig much more. But passion is not something that you find and keep. Okay, I fall in love, I felt the passion, and we'll keep like this forever. No, it's something that you create and recreate again and again and again and again, and especially in reparation when you have a challenge. And how do you create and recreate again and again and again? With your presence, with your vulnerability, and with your willingness to show up. Without your presence, without you being honest and showing up and, opening your heart, opening your secrets, there's no passion that can stay alive, because passion passes after a while. What will bring passion is connection, is honesty, is opening in a very raw way to your partner. And that is a miracle, and that is juicy, and that is again a quest for new learnings, because you are learning again about that person. You are learning again about each other. Do you know, in the beginning, we all want to listen each other's stories. We want to know how was their childhood, what they love, how is for them to face difficulties. But then daily life comes in, we already know the person, and then our wound starts to attack and be there, our inner child, and we lose this curiosity. We need to recreate this curiosity. We need to create space every day to be open for vulnerability. Vulnerability needs safetyness, time, and space. It's not something that you just invite, like, now I'm going to do it. No, it's a warm place that you know that you are invited to show who you are. And normally you can only do this with a person that shows up the same way. What a journey, huh? For all of us, honestly. So how passion fades. So routine replaces discovery. Partners becomes emotional distance. Stress and overwork leave no space for intimacy. That is a big challenge for couples in the beginning of being parents. Unspoken resentment kills desire, and this is one of the biggest ones. Many couples comes to me and say, Satya, I didn't tell this 3 years ago, but I'm still dealing with that. And I always ask, but why didn't you say it? What happened to you? I didn't want to open a conflict one more. I was afraid to hurt that person. I was afraid that person could leave me. But then we are kept alone with that. And that sensation starts to become a huge monster inside of us. And that monster feeds on resentment. Many times the resentment is not only towards to the other, it's toward to us, that we could not be authentic. We could not be honest, that we could not stand for what we believe and defend what we believe, and we were not what? Brave to show up. And that resentment kills desire. Because if you are not in a place of honesty and you are hiding secrets from that person, that immediately starts to kill the sexual attraction, because you are alone in that relationship. You are trying to hide. You are trying to sustain something that is not real. So how passion returns? So passion returns when we feel emotionally safe, when we feel seen, and we are not performing, and the other person is not performing. We are real. People desire us for what we are and not for what we conquer, because what we conquer many times, can fade away. But what we truly are, how we stand up after falling, because they love our smell, our way to speak, our way to be in the challenge. So to be authentic, I believe, is the ultimate key for everything, honestly, in life. Ultimate key. When passion returns, when we create intentional novelty and playful tension. So, for example, couples sometimes say, we go on holidays once a year with our kids. And I ask, and when do you have time to be alone? When they go to bed and we watch Yellowstone. And of course, that will be never enough. That will be always the key for getting asleep together and start to not looking to each other with curiosity, because you are doing things that doesn't nurture that place where you can discover life together. In the beginning, you are discovering each other together. You don't want to come out of the room. You don't want to be with other people. But then along the relationship is growing, you need new opportunities for you to rediscover life together. And when you rediscover life together, you rediscover yourselves together in new situations, and to bring joyful situations that is not only about responsibility and dealing with daily life. You need to go out maybe at night or to give a walk out of responsibilities so you can meet in that playful tension, in that place that you can have a good laughter, so that you can be yourselves, that you allow yourselves to be beyond responsibility. So emotional intimacy and novelty are the two biggest predictors of long-term sexual desire. Without emotional intimacy that requires authenticity and vulnerability and safetyness, and novelty, something new in your relation, normally the sexual desire starts to fall down. So, attraction evolves, but desire can be and need to be nurtured. Without nurturing, doesn't happen. So, emotional connection meets playful attention. Intimacy meets joy, meets the new, something that requires you to step out of your comfort zone and learn together something. A thing that you can do is to do a list of new activities that you would like to share with your partner, and to see how you can book time in your months, and it can be weekly or 15 days or one per month. But religious, you do this. I know a couple that they are together already for 30 years, and they have a ritual that is at Wednesdays, since they started till now. Wednesdays, it's their momentum. There's no work at night for them. There's no kids. They put the kids in their grandparents. Now they are grown-up children. But even now, living alone already, they keep the Wednesday just for them, to do something new, to do something that will nurture their curiosity for each other. And they include a lot of sexual meetings there too. So it's important that we give attention, but we put in practice. When you come out of this session today, it's not, okay, I heard, I understand. No, you come to your partner and say, let's do it. Or if you don't have a partner, you can understand what is important for you and start working on yourself. So when you meet a new person, you can start to implement all what we have been saying these 3 sessions. So at the end, love is a practice, and it's not just a feeling. It's not something that we meet and fall into. No, it's something that we need to rise through every day. Is what I call love in action. It's not something that happened to you and that's it. No, you make it happen every day, especially if you really admire that person, especially if you look to that person and you can feel that you never had something with nobody like that person, because there's true connection, there's intimacy, there's hope, there's sexuality, there's things that you never would meet because you were not mature enough, or that person was not mature enough. So now you are. So now you want. So I know that it's like we have the like a dream, like an illusion, say that love should be with no effort, and it's not true, because love is something that we cultivate like a garden. We need to water the flower of love. So in some days we will feel like a lot of passion, and passion can withdraw a little bit and then grows a lot. And there's some days that we are there for our partner because he's grieving, because he lost his business, or she, because they are in depression in some moments, or they had a burnout. But then we need to find the resilience to go through all that. So we put in practice daily life. So love is a practice. Love is not only the first feeling, by the opposite. So the Stoics would say that love is not the passive emotion, but is the virtue to be lived. So you train yourself for that. You grow into that. And in Sufism, for example, they say that love is the path of awakening. Normally, it's through love that we awaken for the deepest shadow that lives in us. And what is shadow at the end? Shadow is just pain trying to call attention. Is our pain that we are so afraid to touch, because at the end we don't want to feel pain. But in that pain, you will find the key for more love, for more self, how do you say, credibility, self-esteem, because you will grow through that. So love is not what you feel, but what you practice so you don't stop feeling. So, how can you practice love? Where do you withdraw? What does it mean truly for you to love even when it's hard? These are questions. These three are enough that you and your partner can do a reflection together. And through that to learn how the other love, how the other maintains love when it's hard, what is important for them. When we do these hard questions, what happens is we start to meet ourselves in a higher consciousness that predicts what is the normal unconscious path and the possibilities for you to walk together in a totally different way. I hope that you have some questions. For example, I have here. I hope this third lesson can be the inventory, the close up for the 2 sessions. For now, because we will have much more, because it's not enough 3 sessions. But you can reflect and you can invite what we all learned here in a very honest way, pointing what really hurts us and what are our main difficulties and what are the possibilities to work in ourselves, but in a practical way. Because without that, it's just another person talking to you, it's just another online training that you saw, it's another book. But if you don't bring to practice, to action, nothing changes in your life. So I will pass now to all the questions that I have here. And I hope that I can answer to all, okay? Dear Rita, yes, we are going to share the recording. Sorry, it's the answer to another person. Here, the first. Dear Satya, thanks so much for all the service and caring. I need your help. How do we heal accumulated resentment that we both of us feel for different reasons? We love each other deeply and truly want to stay together and try to heal our relationship and ourselves. But it feels like everything is coming to the surface and everything is being questioned. Where do we start? How can we repair? What can we do to avoid conflict at this stage and give our relationship a real chance without constantly ending up in conflict? So, this is Rita. Rita, I'm talking to you and everyone that is listening. So normally when we have a lot of resentment means that we already hurt each other a lot because we couldn't not find a common space for respect and boundaries. It means that both of you somehow needs to see where you don't respect yourself and you allow disrespect. Where do you lose yourself and you attack the other or you withdraw? So first of all, I would ask for help and support, like individual sessions, therapy, spiritual support, a person that is older than you and you really give credit to that person. I would ask for help. So individually, you can go back to your life and see where you lost your self-respect, why did you lose, why you still do that to yourself and to your partner. And then when you say, to avoid conflict. It's not about avoiding the conflict. It's how you go through the conflict. How can you learn how to pause, how to see how you were triggered, how to take responsibility in your emotions? What do you need to express? How you need to express your true needs without attacking? How to sustain curiosity and to really allow yourself to be curious why the other feels like this, what is happening to that. And that requires a high level of authenticity and being honest. So it means what I feel from this message, that you are already together for a while, and there's love here, there's still love. That's why you question, that's why you are trying to find a solution. But sometimes we can't without support. We need to look for support. So you go through all these points that I was speaking, and there are a lot, and requires a true support of a person that is out of that relationship to have a more neutral view and to give you feedback in a way that you can look there and there, especially for your blind spots. That means that they are painful. And you should do this individually, both with therapy or support, and then to have couple support or therapy. So you learn how to communicate, you learn how to be responsible, and how to show up for each other without blaming and resentment. And the resentment means there's a lot of situations that they are not resolved. That means there's pain living inside of you that needs attention, support, and therapy. This is what I would do to myself. It's what I do to myself when I understand that I'm not enough in this moment. I'm not available to go through a process that I can do it by myself. Okay. I hope it helped my answer. Here, I just don't know what I really want anymore, and I wish I could figure it out. My ex and I have been apart for 2 years now. We have 2 children together. We were once married. After our divorce, we got back together, hoping things would be different, but nothing really changed. Yes, it happens a lot for most of cases. And I went through so much pain and carried a lot of it alone. Now he sometimes acts like there is still something between us. He kisses me on the forehead, shows little gestures that confuse me. But at the same time, he meets other women. He always kind he always kind of done that, and it hurts even now. It's like he's holding on to me enough to keep me close, but never really being there the way I need. So, um, without, I don't know him, so I don't know his story, but immediately through this message, what I perceive is, why would you stay with a person that doesn't want to be really with you and he wants to be with others? What in you feels that you deserve that? What is your level of self esteem that doesn't allow you to say enough? And I would like to have a different kind of relationship. Or what in you doesn't accept an open relationship and you accept your ex husband exactly how it is? Because if we keep being in a relationship that hurt us after such a long time, even in name of kids, in the way I perceive the work that I do and life, there's a lack of self-love and self-esteem. At the end is self-love. Why don't you love yourself enough that you say no, that you create boundaries to something that really hurts you? So I would look into that place. I would dig inside of myself. Why can't I say no to something that is hurting me and fight and create and pray and keep myself for something that I know that I deserve? That would be my self-inquiry. And for sure, it will bring you to other traumas, to your childhood that needs healing. Okay. Everyone take a deep breath. Dear Satya, what's your view on how do you know when not to quit and when to quit? As I believe both are important skills. They are super important skills. I believe not to quit is when two people find a way to repair and to grow together. If you don't see practical signs of growth together, of course, they need time, and you remain exactly in the same position and still hurts you or the other person and both, I believe it is the momentum that we should consider to step out, I believe. A battle of wounds, adventure to grow. Do you have any recommendations when for a man it is really difficult to express his emotions or feelings with words? I'm not sure if this is a common experience, but from my own, it seems like it can be really challenging for men to open up. Yes, come to working with Satya and we help you to do that. I'm not kidding. Find ways, the person needs to want to learn to see why it's hard for them. Maybe he was so wounded that he can't or he doesn't have the skills. But we as partners, first of all, we need to ask that they go and we need to show that how that hurt us and how hard it is. And if they don't want, we need to ask, why do I stay with the person? Maybe their positive qualities are so big that we can live with that. Or maybe it's not enough for us. So I would, when I see that not only in men, look, men, they were highly trained for centuries to not express their emotions. So, of course, they carry that a lot. But now we are in a moment of humanity that I see many men working on themselves, and it's beautiful. For me, it's like super touching and give me so much hope in humanity when I see a man opening up and expressing their true needs and heart and pain. It gives me, I feel safe with them because they are opening up. But I believe that for women, we are more communicative, more expressive, but really showing up, saying our true needs. I believe we are in the same. So we are in a moment of humanity that we are in a great revolution and a great opportunity of growth together. So how can I help him? Maybe inviting him to do therapy, maybe invite him to go to retreats, showing that there's tools for him to use, showing how it hurts you, how it would be important for you, and for you to show up without attacking, showing your vulnerability, showing how you feel, speaking about your needs, speaking about your day, speaking about what is important for you without attacking and without demanding. Okay? So, what is the best way to enter a relationship that grows healthy and not involves in toxicity? Self-growth. Be aware of who you are. Grow through your wounds. Heal your past. Work a lot in your consciousness. Become conscious so you have a conscious choice how you want to relate. So we don't engage in the wound pattern, and you start to relate from the conscious place. That is the most important thing, I believe. Before we all go, I don't have here more questions, but before we all go, I want to say that you will receive, I think, a beautiful gift in some moments for you to develop your conscious relationships. I believe it's a beautiful place for you to grow by yourself. So you prepare yourself for new relationships and to go with your partner too. Look, don't abandon yourself, don't give hope, don't give up hope, don't give up to to pain. And this is not only in love, it's about life. um, don't abandon yourself, invest in yourself. uh, Believe that you can do it, believe that you can stand after falling, believe that you deserve love. And if you don't feel, go and work in yourself, because everyone, life is really short. We never know when is our last time, where is our last day to say I love you, to enjoy life. We never know. Last February, not this one, the other previous, almost 1 year ago, I was in the other side and I saw, okay, what a great life that I had. I had. I really give myself to everything. But I would lose my kids. I would lose the opportunity to look in their eyes and say much more times, I love you, you are great, to be there by their side. I would lose the opportunity to really enjoy this love that I entered at 45 years old. Now it's already 47. I would lose the opportunity to taste good food, to meet new places, to have more pleasure, to create new business. I would lose the opportunity to be alive. So, everyone, everything is wired to put you down, to make you sick, to make you believe that you are not enough, that life is hard. No, we need to stand and to fight for what we want to experience, for what we want to manifest. And that starts inside. It's not something that we do only in the practical daily life. It's a self-sense of love, that we are worthy, that we deserve, that we have the right for abundance in love, in material life. But it starts by us, of self-love, of self-care. Without that, we don't have anything inside. Without that, we are slaves of practical life. We need to nurture our spirit, our soul. So I hope that I can meet you at working with Satya retreats, at work for couples, the alchemy of love, but the work for men, the work for women, at the Awareness Facilitator School, that is a 2 years journey, that is a super deep spiritual and life transformation. The more we work in ourselves, the more we are creating of possibilities of recreating and manifesting our life. So by saying that working in ourselves is not only to dig the pain and to see how broken we are, is not that. Through pain, through challenge, that we can grow. And that is true. To die with dignity is totally different to die in misery, that we couldn't live our life. So I would love to end with a poem for all of you, so you keep yourself open to life. Let me open here the poem, and here we say, that I wrote before I started this session. The door that we all carry. Everyone wants to be loved, even the quiet ones, even the ones who say they don't, even the ones who left before the love could begin. There is a whisper inside of every heart. Let me be seen. And spoken griefs, memories our body remembers, even when the mind forgets. Sexuality, raw, sacred, trembling. Here I go to the body, to the poem. Sexuality, raw, sacred, trembling, is not just about the bodies, it's a passage, a wild ancient bridge to the supergate of consciousness. It's where spirit meets skin and says, "Wake up." But how can we open when somewhere inside we still believe that love might live? We do not know that our own unconscious fears, the tiny recoils, the silent sabotage, the tightening before touch, are the shadows that kill the very love we ache for. And yet, beneath it all, we are the part of hope, the part that still dares, that still dreams, that still reach, thought the rebel of fear and says, maybe this time I will stay. Because love is not something we find, it's a door we learn to walk through, and it's been in us all along. So at the end, everyone, you are the love that you are looking for, and you are the one that can manifest that through your consciousness into practice in loving relationships. So, everyone, I hope that I could support you a little bit more. I could bring more awareness, more tools, more information so you can use in your daily life. So I hope that you are a person that we can count on each other to create a more loving space in this world, not only for us for sure, but to our future generations. Wishing you a beautiful night and, of course, a beautiful life. And when you fall down, you stand up. When you need to learn, you will go to find a teacher to learn or any tool that helps you. And we meet very soon, or at Working with Satya, or at the next Honest Talks that we will launch very soon. All my love to everyone. Thank you for your trust, and wishing you a good dinner with your friends, with your family, with your cat and dog, or just with yourself. Everyone, let's open the microphone and say good night to everyone.
Good night.
Good
night.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you,
night.
Satya.
Night.
Good
Good
night.
Obrigada.
Добраніч.
Obrigada.
Goodbye.
Good night.
На
Good night.
Good night.
Obrigado.
Good
Obrigada.
night. Love.
Good night, everyone. Good night. And here is the link if you want to see what is the next step. And please stay alive while we are alive, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.
Go.